Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Keep It Even Podcast. I am Lan Mind, and this is episode 5. We're going to be talking about Invincible. This show was premiered on Amazon Prime, and today I have my guest with me, Miyamo CG. What's up, Chris?
Let's go, baby. You know the vibes. I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me, my friend. Let's get to it.
Word. And the reason why I bring Chris here today is because this man has read the comics of this show that I didn't even know existed. And I just so happened to watch it, not by mistake, but of curiosity. And when I had told Chris about it, Chris went crazy and he's like, yo, the comics are amazing. This show is crazy. I'm like, oh, I didn't know it was like that. So I had to bring him on. So thank you for being with me. And if this is your first time here, consider subscribing. I post a new video every Monday, either on podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post a new video. So, Chris, Invincible, 8 episodes, Robert Kirkman, comic book, adult, like this is not for kids kind of thing.
Not at all.
When
It's
they,
great.
you read the comic books, and when they said this is going to be a animated show, what were your initial thoughts being a fan of the comics?
I was excited because
Oh, you froze.
it gives off. Oh, I did.
Okay, there
Can
you
you
go.
hear
You
me?
back now. Yeah, you back.
Oh, my fault. I was excited
Mm.
because, like, reading the comics, being a fan of the character itself, knowing that it's kind of like a parody, but it gets really good, kind of like a because I love anime, like a One Punch Man kind of thing,
Mhm.
where it's like it's still a good story, but it starts off like feeling like a parody of other characters, and he actually got permission from both Marvel and DC to use the likeness of their characters, which is crazy. I don't
Yeah.
know how he did it. Respect to that man. Um, Plus, once I saw the first trailer, I was like, "Oh yeah, oh this is it." If only it wasn't just on Amazon. I mean, I know a lot of people have Amazon, but it's like this show probably would be way bigger if it was on something that everybody had.
Like
You know what I mean?
Netflix, right? Like if it was
Yes,
Netflix, this probably would have blew up more than it did.
right, 100%.
Now, for me, I never read the comic book, but it was all over the internet where people who love games or comics, and that's why we're talking about this, it was in that realm that I'm a part of. And I said, let me give this a chance. Everyone's talking about it. Now, when I watched the first episode, there was just so many characters and so many people coming in and out of the scenes. And I'm like, damn, I don't know if I could get into this. There's too much going on. But I gave it a chance. And it wasn't until the end of episode 1, and mind you, this is all spoilers. So if you didn't watch it, go watch it now before we get into it. Yo, it was crazy. It was a manslaughter. There was blood everywhere, body parts flying, and I was glued. I was glued. I looked at the TV when my mouth dropped the entire time and said, "What? This is real? Like this? They can do this?"
They
So,
can do
Chris,
it.
was it
But that's another thing.
what?
And the fact that he's on Amazon, I think he's able to kind of
He has more
bring
freedom.
it there. You know what I mean? Where as if he was on a TV network or on Netflix or whatever, he might have to simplify a couple things. So I think being on Amazon helped him
Mm.
to be a little more creative because in the comics, that scene in the last part of the first episode did not happen that way. I want you to know this, okay?
Was it
Omni
worse?
Man obliterates them. There's not even a
Oh,
fight.
it's not
They
even
don't
a
fight
fight.
back. There's not even a fight. He demolishes them with ease. So I think that's why I
Oh,
keep saying like they made it a little more better because it made the stakes feel a little higher where
yeah,
they
yeah.
were
Like there was a
actually landing
chance.
hits.
Yeah.
Right, they were landing hits. They were doing their thing, and then he was just like, "Yo, yeah, give me a face. Let me squeeze your brain out," kind of stuff. Like he's a monster. He's crazy. So that first scene, I knew it. I was like, "Yo!" Even as somebody who read the comics, I lost my mind watching that scene because I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy. He's doing oh no, nuts." Robert Kirkman is crazy.
So, for those that don't know, Robert Kirkman also created The Walking Dead. He's mostly famous for that, but he's created other things. Now, when I saw it, I said, okay, Omni Man seems like he's the strongest. He's like the leader of this group, and he must be under some type of spell. Someone's making him do this. There's no way this guy is just killing his friends. I was in that under that impression. So I said, I was like 3 episodes behind. So I said, next episode, let's go. Show me what happens next. I was so intrigued by the end.
Oh no, you weren't behind. They released 3 episodes on the first week when it dropped.
Oh, okay, okay.
They released the first 3 just to get people into it because they're like, "Yo, we can't just end you on a cliffhanger like
Bro,
that and
if
not give
they
you nothing."
did, I would have been so mad. But it would have been good because then it would have drawn you in. Like you gotta come back to find out because what they did in this show at the end of the credits, they will show credits and then it'll be like a mid-credit scene and they'll show you so much more. So I stood to the whole thing ended just to see every episode what happens next, and they did it well. And like I said in the beginning, it kind of dragged. There was too much going on, and I said maybe this is not for me. But it wasn't until the end of that first episode that I said this is the show for me. Then we got to the next one. Then they start talking about investigations, and there's like secret agents that are invisible. So I'm like, what is going on? And other thing too, there are so many great actors voicing this
Yeah, the
show.
voice acting it just makes no sense.
It's unbelievable the amount of actors they have in the show. It blew my mind that there are a lot of people from The Walking Dead doing voices for the show. And one of the main actors that played Glenn in The Walking Dead is playing the main actor here, which is
Mhm.
Mark, the son of Omni Man, who's played by I forgot his name. He also did um
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. He also did
J. Jonah
Spider-Man.
Jameson.
Yeah,
So if you look at the character Omni Man, he
mm,
literally looks like J. Jonah Jameson from Spider Man,
yeah.
which is who his character is based off of look wise. Which is why Robert got the likeness of J. Jonah Jameson from Marvel.
So give us a little backstory since you know so much about this comic. Like, what was the intent of this comic? Was it like just a spoof? Was it just to make fun of all the characters? And
I honestly don't know what the intent was. I
uh,
just know he wanted to use the likeness and just kind of show the the grittier side of being a hero. And then I think he does a lot of good misdirection, especially like in the show, like you said in the first episode, they introduce you to the duplicate villains, the two big blue dudes, and
yeah,
you're like, oh, that's the big bad guy, but they probably got a boss and yada yada. So he's throwing you off, and then at the end of that episode, Omni Man just comes through and starts smoking everybody unprovoked for no reason, and you're like, yo, you're thinking, like you said, you thought, oh, mind control, somebody's
yeah.
controlling him. There's a bigger bad here, and if they got control of him, it's a wrap. When in reality, Omni Man is just a menace to society. He's crazy.
And throughout the episodes, you kind of get hints of that he is the bad guy here, and
Right.
he did this because he wanted to. And you find that out in the last episode, episode 8, where he's like, I've been lying to. He's talking to his son, and we're gonna get to that episode, but he's pretty much saying that this Earth is nothing. Like these people here ain't shit. And he's like, I'm here to fix that problem. And it's like, but who made you God? Like, as a viewer, I'm like, but
Right. Like,
why?
but who's gonna stop him?
Yeah, and that's the thing. This guy is so powerful. I've never seen no character like this before in my life.
Now, I think another thing that uh, he's trying to get across with this show and with the comics is that there's no such thing as plot armor here.
What do you
Throughout
mean?
this entire season, the main character, Invincible, got his ass kicked and lost multiple times.
Yeah.
He wasn't always the hero that came through to
I
like
love
finish
that.
everything off. Like the first time he put on the suit and the aliens came, he lost to them like
I
three,
want to
four
get to that.
times.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or the fight with at the water fountain against the cyborg character that his brain got taken over. He didn't win that fight. The guy killed himself because he saw himself in the reflection. Or against the goat battle beast, he got his ass beat. And then against his father, he got his ass every single time that he did something. He would try to win. It's like, yo, I can't win. I'm not who I think I am. I'm not really invincible. It's more like a grounded character where like he doesn't have this superpower um that makes him stronger than everybody. He's still trying to figure it out, his powers and stuff like that. Granted, he is super strong and all that, but I think Robert's doing a great job of just kind of leveling him out and making sure people know, like, hey, he's not the strongest in this universe, and he will lose.
It is amazing. And you made up great points there. It is amazing how they flip the script literally where the good guy doesn't always win, and I love that whole aspect of the show. I thought like it's funny because when he came up with the name, everyone made fun of it like Invincible. What's so invincible about you? Like like you talking like the way he when he was introduced to the other characters, and they will always question his ability, like what makes you so invincible. I love that. Like they question his name, where in the comic books of other things, you barely just like accept the name and that's it. Where these
Right.
characters, they're getting on each other and they're good guys. Like it's not like, hey, welcome to the team. They're like, fuck you. Why you here? Like who
There's
you
ego,
is?
yeah, there's egos involved, there's all that.
Yeah. Yo, it's so good, man. And it makes me want to read the comic book because you were mentioning before we went live that like the comic book it's almost identical to the comic book, the way the adaptation of the show is. And like there are certain things that were not in the show that was not in the comic book that actually made it more
Made it
intriguing.
to the show.
And it's like, oh, I need to see what this is about. And now I want to know what happens moving forward, which got me into the Walking Dead comic books when I first watched the show on AMC. And I'm like, I got to read the comic book. This guy is amazing. So I didn't even know like the purpose of this, but once you watch it, you get addicted to it. And another thing is when you see Mark Invincible, like he is the son of Omni Man, and he's half human, half what's the other like his name, where he's from,
Vulturemite or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
something
I
where
think it's Vulturemite. I know it starts with a V.
yeah,
Hold on.
it's kind of like if Superman had a kid with Lois Lane kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that, right? And he learns he gains his power as a teenager. He didn't get it from birth. Like he kind of like discovered it later on in his life. Where in comic books it's like you're born, you got powers, here you go. He actually like tries to learn it as a teenager, which is interesting because it also involves like the puberty part of thing, growing up,
Right.
working and having a normal life and getting bullied too. You see that in the show. And then he gets the power and he gains this confidence like ain't nobody could touch me now. But then when he goes to fight, he gets fucked up. And it's like, this is great. He didn't win. And it was just so amazing. And especially when they fight the aliens that come through. Yo, that whole team that came, that like that young team,
Yep.
they got fucked up too. And people die. You're seeing civilians die, getting
Die.
blown to pieces. And I'm like, damn, if this is like a realism superhero, even though superheroes are not
Right.
real, but this is like, what if it
Like
were?
if superheroes were real. So similar to how The Boys kind of does it.
I didn't see that show, and I
where
heard that it's great.
The Boys is great.
Yeah.
This is, I think, a little more brutal, but I think it's because it's animated.
Yeah, you could get
So they
away with
get
these
to
things.
do that.
The
Granted,
imagery.
I think the comics are a little more brutal as far as blood and gore, but they do take it there on this
So good.
show. What's it called? They are Vulturemites, by the way. That is
Vulturemites, okay.
their planet, their race, and all
Yeah.
that good stuff. I can't wait for everybody to meet them. You guys are gonna hate them, and it's gonna be great because you will meet them. They hinted at them in this last episode, the
Yeah.
season finale. They showed a couple of them. They didn't name them though, so
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna ruin that for you guys. But if you want to do your research and read the comics for yourself, you can find out who those people are and why they're so menacing. Because if you think Omni Man is bad, trust me, it gets worse.
Oh my god, it's so good.
But Omni Man, I think, is especially with this last episode, I think it showed a little bit more of his character, which was great. Because though he's a dick, he's
Yeah.
a terrible person.
Yeah.
He hit it well. And I think the switch that flipped it, especially was in the first episode, was when Mark got his powers. Because I think he was under the impression that Mark just missed the power calling
Yeah, yeah.
that he expected, because that was their plan, was have a kid, take over with your kid. Now Earth is your planet, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when Mark finally got his powers, that's why he ended up killing the Guardians. It wasn't like a mind control thing. He was just like, all right, now it's time. So I got to get rid of everybody else and it's over. And that's what he does. Then he got caught. Then the guy with the worst possible name, the Immortal, got killed twice.
Yo.
Twice. And I don't know if you saw, but they put him in the last episode as well.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
were
Like
putting him back together again. Yeah.
Yo.
Well, he is immortal, so he's probably going to come back to life.
But the crazy thing about this show too, right? Where when they die, they show you like when characters die, they show you like there's like this secret agency kind of thing where they come and pick these people up. They bring them to
Right.
like a special hospital that's just for like superheroes, and they patch them up with this crazy technology to make them, back to who they were. We're so used to seeing superheroes. This is why it's so great, because it's not what you're used to for all
Yep.
these years, going back to the original Marvel and DC comics. This is something where it's on a different level, and it's something that I think takes it to a level where it's unexpected because we're so used to it, right? When they start putting the characters back together, they go back out and they still get their ass whooped. It's not like they go back out and they become, they redeem themselves of their losses. No, like they try to get better, but they still, like, there's powers out there that are so much stronger than what they're accustomed to. Now, the people that come from outside of Earth, it just goes to show that they are overpowered. They so OP. The people in Earth, they kind of like leveled with each other, where they can fight one another, and maybe someone's gonna lose, someone's gonna win. But it's not like I flick you and you're dead. These guys come from a different planet and they just demolish people. There's an episode where I'm not Omni Man, Mark goes to help the guy that turns into stone. Forgot his name.
It's just Luke Cage. That's Luke
Luke
Cage.
Cage, yeah, that's what I thought. Yo, I felt like that what it was. So he goes to help Luke Cage. Let's just say I don't remember his name, but he goes to help him take out his boss. But lo and behold, it was all a setup at the end. But the thing is, the boss already knew this was gonna happen. Brought these other villain heroes from different planets to fight the team and Mark, Invincible, and they get
No,
their ass whooped, bro.
they're the Guardians at that point.
Oh,
Remember
they're
that.
the Guardians. Okay. That-
So I think three people from the team
yeah, yeah.
became Guardian. The Fire,
The kid with
the
the
duplicate,
yeah, the
and
duplicate.
the robot.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody else wasn't on that team.
yeah.
I
You're
mean,
right.
Adam Eve was supposed to be in it, but she found that her man was cheating
Yeah,
and, and all that good stuff with duplicates.
yeah,
So, she's not part of that team, but they were the Guardians because they had the older black dude,
yeah. The one that's kind of
uh,
like Iron Man, where he just like has a suit kind of thing. He doesn't have
Beast
powers.
Girl,
Yeah,
and pretty much Ant-Man, but a woman version.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Wasp.
Yo, so dope. So everyone's like, it looks like it's a fair fight, but then they just get demolished, bro. And as they're getting like fucked up, the Beast guy, what was his name again?
Battle Beast.
Battle Beast. I don't remember any of these names. Chris knows, this is why Chris is here. Battle Beast really fucks up everyone. And you see Omni Man watching from above. You don't really see his whole body. Like, you see his
They
leg.
show a leg in the cape. And
Yeah.
that's it.
And it's like, yo, why is he not helping? And he kind of like warned Invincible, like, you don't want to do this. Like, you don't want to help this guy. And I'm like, damn. So maybe he was just warning his son and letting his son learn a lesson. And as a father, like, I let my son learn lessons too. But if he's getting his ass whooped, I'm not gonna let my, like, if he's a superhero, maybe like, you're gonna learn, you're gonna get out
Right.
of this, you're gonna be okay. But he
Man
almost
was on the
got,
brink of death.
he almost died. And I'm like, yo, he's
That's
getting his
another thing they
face
do.
planted.
That's another thing they do well. Like in that scene when he's fighting everybody else, you notice Battle Beast isn't involved, right?
Yeah.
And he
He's
kind
just
of has that
sitting back.
little power up moment where he kind of goes crazy. He's like, "I'm gonna kill everyone!" And he starts going crazy on them. He's winning,
Yeah.
and then Battle Beast just comes like, "Yeah, hold this real quick, hand
Yeah.
it to the chest, hold that, you're dead." Like I thought he even said it. Like I thought you guys were gonna bring me somebody like that'll put up a
Yes.
fight.
Yes.
This is nothing. Oh my god, beautiful execution.
Yo, and I'm just like, okay, Omni Man, this is your time. Like, I still have faith in you. Come help them. And he just watches it. I'm like, maybe there's a reason for this. And then it, like, the plot keeps going forward. And later on, obviously, you find out that, he didn't care for these people. But bro, that scene there was a lot of scenes, man, that they did so well showing how vulnerable these young superheroes are, because
Right.
they haven't been around that long compared to in the beginning, where you see like that superhero team that they've been together, they have chemistry, they were able to handle things,
Right.
and you're learning like they're not ready.
They were a good team.
Yeah, and Cecil, who's
In the
kind of like
beginning.
in charge, he's like
He's
Nick
like the Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's just trying to put a team together because the team got demolished prior, and it just they didn't click well. There's a lot of problems, and later on they start to become a team, but it just shows like growth, man. And within 8 episodes, they did an amazing job,
And I think another thing they did well is showing the power scaling, like how strong Omni Man is compared to everybody else.
bro.
Um, like
The
with
guy
the
is
aliens, like
crazy.
they were
Oh
having
yeah,
trouble with aliens,
bro. He
and then
goes
Omni
there.
Man comes and literally destroys the entire planet within like 5 minutes. He just destroyed everything. You
Yo,
know what I'm saying? So it showed the power. Like, all right, yeah, these guys are strong on their level, but they can't handle what he can do. So like that was the first time I think he let loose in the entire show for real. Where like I think he was kind of holding back against the Guardians. I mean, he killed them, but he
yeah.
was kind of like he didn't show his full power.
He probably had
And then
like a
against
conscience, like I don't really want to kill them, but I
right,
have to, kind of thing.
if you're gonna put up a fight, then I'm a fight, and you guys are gonna lose, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But against those aliens, it was just like, all right, that look that he gave them, the medicine look, like, all right, I'm gonna just drop this on you guys. Bye, I'm out of here. Go through the little portal you guys are trying to escape from. I'm out.
Yeah, no, you did a good job explaining that whole leveling system, right? Where there's a difference between like the people on Earth versus the people outside their own planets. And when Omni Man goes to that alien planet, like put it like this, the aliens came and they kept coming back like stronger, more advanced tech, and
Yep.
the young people, the young like superheroes are having such a problem. They couldn't stop them. Omni Man goes there, like Chris just said, and just destroys the planet within minutes. It's like he shows, like he really shows off how strong he is. If you thought he was strong before, you see that you're like, who are we dealing with? Who is this guy?
And that's how you know the people on Earth didn't even know his power level because they were worried for him. Like, oh, he went through the portal. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Where's your father? Man's just like, yo, I'm back. No problem. Destroyed the entire planet in a matter of seconds.
And I think he
It was
went to
wild.
like Venice to get food after that. And he came back. He's like, I'll go get food for you. I'll come back.
Their whole thing, that alien planet's whole thing was their time is faster than
Yeah.
Earth's time.
Yeah.
So like a couple minutes on Earth is like 20 years to them.
Yeah.
And they just kept dying. So they were every time they would come back, they had a new technology to
Yeah.
keep them the same age and match the time of Earth
I
and
love
whatnot.
that, man. So much like detail, and like separation from all the other superheroes. Because like when we watch superheroes, you get like in animated superhero shows, you get a couple superheroes here and there. This show, you get everybody, like, and there's more that I don't even know about. And you kind of learn that at the end of the season where they start showing you clips of different things. And it's like, yo, there's more. And then it got renewed for season 2 and 3 that was just announced this week,
Yes,
which
sir.
I am excited for because we only got 8 episodes here and it was so good. I can only imagine what's gonna happen next. And before we get into what potentially may happen next, I want to get into the last episode, which for Chris, from what he told me, was emotional for him. It wasn't emotional for me, but there were a lot of scenes where you kind of felt like no one can stop him. No one can stop Omni Man. And Sisu, who's like the Nick Fury, he states to the wife of Omni Man, I forgot her name, and tells her that the only person that can stop him is possibly Mark, his son. And bro,
Not a chance.
he gets so fucked up. And it's kind of weird because when when you're seeing him, like when you see Omni Man beat his son, you kind of feel like he's holding punches, but towards the end of like that long battle, he just like lets loose and like really destroys him, and no one can help him. Like even the young Guardians of that team, they like, should we go? Should we not? And Cecil's like, do not move. Like he's letting them like, you're gonna die, and they're watching
He's
like
like,
the whole
hey,
thing happen, and then they start like, maybe we shouldn't go.
right, because her name's Deborah, by the way,
Oh,
his
Deborah,
mom.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What's it called? So Cecil kind of kept her there to watch the whole thing,
yeah,
and she was able to hear the entire conversation
yeah.
where
He doesn't
Omni Man
care.
is like, "Yo, these people are nothing to me. Your mom's more of like a pet than a wife." Like he was going crazy,
Yo,
and you could tell he was taking it easy. He was just like, "Yo, son, I'm trying to teach you something. Like, take this lesson. I don't want to kill you. You got to take over with me." right? So like the first half of that fight, even though he's beating Mark's ass, Mark's Mark, I don't think Mark was going all out either
He was
throughout the
holding
entire
too.
fight
It's his
because
father.
he's like, yo, it's still my dad. Like, I want to be with you, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like, he
yeah,
wasn't trying to kill his dad. He was just trying to stop him.
yeah,
He also thought, hey, who got control of you? Let me stop him. When they
yeah.
first started fighting, like, because
That
he
was
just saw
great.
him rip dude in half.
Yeah, he saw. My God,
But then
man.
Mark, I think the moment Mark realized that it was actually his dad and he wasn't mind controlled was when the guy that was in the fighter jet that he just came, he saved him, and
Yeah,
his dad came and just squished his head like a melon, like just boom, hold this real
you
quick.
will never. I'm telling you, bro. You will never in your life see anything like this. I've never seen anything like this. Maybe whoever seen put it in the comments below. You will never see destruction, death like this in an animated series.
No. Unless you watch anime, of course. But which is another thing that I am a fan of. I love anime, and I'm so happy that the animation like stuff is coming to America as well.
Yeah,
Even though we're gonna call it cartoons or
yeah.
animated series, whatever. That's anime. That's literally what anime does
But I'm talking on a
on the
superhero
regular.
scale,
Right, right.
yeah,
They do it right. You know what I'm saying?
crazy.
I have to see what the budget is for the show because it just makes no sense. The voice acting, the animation,
The
all that was
actors
phenomenal.
on point.
But then right after that scene, I think that's when Mark kind of realizes, like, yo, hold on, my dad might actually be a psychopath because then that's when he starts like, he starts tearing up. That's when it starts getting a little emotional for me personally.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, yo, can you just imagine your entire life? You look up to this person, he's a hero. This whole time, you're like, yo, that's my dad. I want to be just like my father. And then it turns out your father is a piece of garbage and it just wants to murder everybody on earth if they don't obey him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wants to be a god. So
Yeah.
then after he squeezes the freaking dude's head like a melon, he goes, oh, that hurt you? Cool. How about this one? Boom! Snuffs him like halfway across the country. I don't know where the hell
Yo, he
he
was
sent Mark
gone.
flying.
He was like,
And the scene where Mark's trying to save the lady and her daughter,
oh yeah, I was gonna
that
get into
was
that.
like, yo, man, what is going on? And he's like, oh, hold on, I got you, trying to hold up the building with one hand, hold the woman with the other. And when the building falls, he thinks he still got her in his hand, and then it's just the lady's arm. Like, yo, I can't like if being a superhero was real, I can imagine stuff like that happening. So it's like, yo, you can't save everybody, even no matter how hard you try. Like that scene where he went flying through the city, the amount of people that died in that scene was wild. The cars smashing into everybody, and they show it. They show everybody getting smushed, blown up, torn in half, everything. They show it. And then it gets even worse because then he comes back. Omni-Man pulls up on him and is just like, all right, I got you. You don't get it yet? Cool. Let me show you how insignificant these people from Earth are, these humans are. You are a god. Watch. Boom. Brings me to the train. Kills a bunch of people off rip, just shooting him down there. And then lifts him up and just holds him like this, face first into a incoming train where everybody on board dead, and Mark has to watch him go through watch himself go through everybody's body. The blood and gore was wild. I don't know if you noticed this small little detail that I loved. Okay, every episode when they mentioned the name Invincible,
Yeah, more
okay, even though
blood.
it always ended up, like 15 minutes into the episode.
Yeah, some was like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, now we get the intro title. Yeah,
Right. Every single episode, more blood was splattered on the
I was
Invincible
always
name.
curious about that. Like, does he die? That's what I kept thinking.
So the only good thing about Mark is the Vulturemite power in him. Their healing factor is wild. So like you saw, he got beat to almost death by Battle Beast and recovered within a couple weeks. And then this same thing where his dad was like, bro, after the train scene, he threw him into the mountains and was just bashing his brains in. But that's where you see the character development in Omni Man, where he's like, yo, who are you gonna have in 500 years? And he was like, you. Oh man, I'm not even a father, and I'm like, damn, son, that had to hurt. That had to hurt him right there. That hurt Omni Man because he was like, "Yo, I'll have you in 500 years. Of course, this
Yo,
super powered, beings like we'll be alive." And then he just flew away. You don't see him again
the
for the
script
rest of the episode.
the script in this show so good, and that's a good point that you brought up towards the end, where he's like, "Who you gonna have?" Because they could last hundreds, thousands of years,
Right.
and he starts. I think Mark starts to think of his friends and his family in that moment, and he realizes that the only one he has will be his dad, and there's still an emotional connection. And when he says that, you see like the dad, like his eyebrows, like kind of like raised, like he has a point.
When he flew away, he was crying.
Yeah,
That's how you know it hit the heartstrings for Omni Man. He was like, "Damn, bro, he's right."
he just fucked up his son. Like oh my god, yo, the show's so good, right? And the you made a lot of good points, and I think one of them is that and I mentioned this before, the realism of trying to save everyone. Like we see this in Marvel when we saw Age of Ultron, where like everything's crumbling down, but you don't see the people die. You see people hurt.
Right.
You don't see limbs falling. I mean, it will probably
Like
it's
people die, but they just don't show it.
yeah, because it's PG
You know?
13. You're not gonna get blood and gore in Disney Marvel films, right? And you're not gonna get that in Warner Brother DC films either. So the idea that like you won't see that and you see it in a show like this, it kind of makes you appreciate the idea of like the realism of superheroes, because you're not gonna see Superman try to hold a building and pretty much like can't do it.
Save everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, because even in Man of Steel, when everything's being like blown to pieces, you don't see
Oh, he's
anyone
destroying
get hurt.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see no one
Right.
getting hurt. You don't.
Like they imply it.
Yeah, yeah,
They
like
imply that, oh, listen, people die. Like even in Marvel with Age of Ultron.
yeah,
That's how Zemo became a thing
yeah,
because his family died in Sokovia during that whole thing. But they don't show his family dying.
yeah,
They show the implications that they died.
yeah.
But this show, they show it, which is similar to why The Boys is so good as well because it's not animated; it's real people. But I think their take on superheroes is more so like they have like NDAs and stuff like that. Like this one is just two similar shows, two different executions. So it's great to have both actually at the same time.
Do you think this would have been successful if it was like live action?
They're actually working on a live action.
Really, I didn't hear about
Yes,
this.
they're working on a live action adaptation
Is
as
it a
we speak, my
movie
friend.
or a show?
I think they're gonna make it a movie, if I'm not
Oof,
mistaken.
I gotta watch that.
Because a show would make no sense because they
They
already
have to
have
have,
the
yeah,
animated show.
yeah. You're right.
But I believe they're doing a live action movie. And if it does well,
Wow.
they're gonna do more. You know what I mean? Type of stuff.
Okay, now
So
the sucky part about this, we're not gonna get the same blood and gore. I don't think, like unless it's gonna be rated R, and we're gonna see stuff like Mortal Kombat.
it's very possible they do that.
I would
It's
love to
very
see that.
possible they do that.
You can't take
Because
away that
because of the success of the show, it's very possible they do that.
they
Because the
have to.
show is blowing up. You know what I mean?
They
Like
have
think
to.
about it. It's on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah,
There's not that much shows on Amazon Prime Video, but they got bangers. Like I said, The Boys is a banger. That's on
I gotta
Amazon
watch that.
Prime only.
I gotta watch that.
And in this show, being an animated show and having the success it's having, it's all over the place. Like you can't, if you're into comic books, if you're into video games and all that, you can't go on any social media site without seeing a clip of this show. You might not even know what the show is, but you'll see a clip of
Yeah,
Mark getting his ass beat most of the time, if anything. But you'll see a clip like it's blown up heavy
yeah.
to the point where people are using other people's Amazon accounts and all that. You know what I'm saying? So hey,
Now,
because of success, I think they can't take that away if they go live action. They can't.
yeah,
It'll ruin it.
yeah. Because I think it's successful not only for the storytelling, the voice acting, the animation, but the blood and gore and the realism of what happens to like civilians that are involved. Not only just the superheroes, but the people that are around these cities that
The
are
friends, the family, the
yeah.
the, the regular, just everyday people, the guy at a coffee shop, all that stuff. They show it all.
Even Mark's friend who's gay, right? He goes to visit his like soon to be lover at a
Right.
college. Yo, he gets like there's a guy that
Right.
puts like he makes these super soldiers. Now he works with Cecil, right? So he makes these super soldiers kind of thing, and he like takes the guy's body and like puts parts to him. It's insane. Like you are watching and you're like, why are they doing this? And it's gonna you're gonna I think you're gonna learn later on down the line, and you may know more than me why this is all happening. What are your thoughts moving forward? What do you think they're gonna do in season 2 and 3? Do you think it's gonna be longer episodes? Not longer episodes, but more episodes.
I think the episodes are going to be the same, but it'll be similar to how The Walking Dead started, where I think it was like, I think the first season of Walking Dead was
It was
like
like,
6 episodes.
yeah, very short.
But the more popular it gets, the more money is going to be poured into the show,
Yeah.
which will allow them to do more episodes. Like I don't think it's going to be that much more episodes. I would guess season 2 and 3 probably 12 episodes apiece instead of 8.
Okay.
Would be a little bit more, and they can, depending on the, like I said, depending on the pacing, they may be able to end it after at the end of the third season, or if they want to keep going, they have a lot because the comic book is over. By the way, like the
How
comic book's
many
finished.
how many issues does
It's
the comic?
144 in total,
Damn.
but each episode has gone through a couple issues per episode,
Really?
which is what I'm
Okay.
saying.
So like in
So
8
like that's why I
episodes, you
said
want
the
like
pacing is
20
different.
issues? Maybe?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
Like
okay.
the pacing, like especially the first episode, the pacing is wild because they go from introducing the characters to the team dying off rip.
In the
And
first
that
episode.
happened in the span of like the first two the first 2 to like 4 issues of the
Wow.
comic book. You know what I'm saying? So depending on the pacing, they can easily knock out this entire series within the first 3 seasons. Or if they want, I say they could probably get like 5 seasons in
Really?
to like to get it in, depending on how much episodes they put in the season. So like I said, if they do like 12 episodes a season after this, they can stretch it out to 5 and it'll work.
Mm.
If they do more, then we'll probably see less seasons, but we'll see. I'm excited to see the direction they go because I already know the story. So and we all know how Robert Kirkman works, he might change it up.
Mhm.
I mean, he
He's
changed
done
up
it.
The Walking Dead
Yeah.
completely from what the comics were, and the fact that he can even do that is just mind-boggling to me. Because, like, as someone I make music, you know this.
Mhm.
If I come up with a song, coming up with like another version of the song is hard because one version of the version I already made is stuck in my head.
Mhm.
So having a full-blown comic that's finished and you know the story to come in and change stuff up is phenomenal, and it still be good. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
granted, he hasn't really changed much from what the comics are yet, but like I said, we all know how Robert Kirkman works as far as The Walking Dead goes. So you never know what he can do and will do with this series, especially with the success it's having already.
Now, is there anything that you want to see in the next season, season 2, or is there anything that you think may happen?
I can't give names
Okay.
besides Battle Beast, but
Okay.
I told you off air that Battle Beast fight with another one of Omni-Man's peoples. That's the one. That's the one I can't wait to see animated. It's a
Alright.
good fight. It's a good fight.
Now, for me, I don't know too much, but I want to get deeper with Mark. I want to see after this battle, does it make him stronger? Does it make him more mature? Is he you already may know this, Chris, because you read the book, the comics. But in my mind, it's like, do they make a stronger team? Does he become the leader? Does he kind of like follow in his dad's footsteps, but has more of a conscience and still has love
So
for his, the planet that he lives on? Like what?
right. So
That's my thing.
basically, his dad was never a part of the team.
Oh, that's
The Guardians
right. That's
team,
right.
his
Yeah,
dad was
yeah,
never a part of it.
yeah.
So Cecil would just use him when
You're
the
right.
Guardians
Right.
couldn't handle something. It's like, yo, call Omni-Man
Yeah,
in because he's stronger than all of them and he
yeah.
can do it. So
I think
he even
Immortal was the
asked
leader, right?
of the
Yeah,
Guardians,
yeah, yeah.
yes. So at the end of this episode, you see him ask, like, yo, I don't know where your dad's at. So we kind of need a replacement. Like, I know it might be too soon to ask, but we need a replacement. So you'll see where that story leads. He kind of already like stepped into it when he went to go talk to the same being that
Yeah.
he fought in one of the earlier episodes. Was like, yo, my dad was wilding. I'm a Vulture bro. They had that whole
Yeah,
conversation
yeah,
where he
yeah.
explained what happened.
When I think
And
they went to the moon or some shit to talk.
yeah,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they talked in their heads.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that first fight was hilarious. It was like, yo, what? The last guy that was here was a freaking gangster. Like, what happened? So, but that character also plays another crucial role
Yeah,
in
okay.
the future of Mark's character growing.
Mm.
So there's a lot of stuff that they hinted at, which is why I really like this episode, because even though the first half was all action and it kind
Yeah.
of like slowed down
Yeah,
afterwards,
yeah, yeah.
which I know you explained to me in the text, like it's like I get it, but what they're setting up, because it is a pilot season,
Yeah, yeah.
made so much sense. Because it's like, all right, cool. Here's the fight that you guys want to see. Now I'm gonna give you all the future stuff that's gonna happen. So now they have all the different storylines they planted, right? They got the
Yeah.
the aliens that we thought were wiped out by Omni Man. They're still alive, and
Yeah.
they're working on new technologies.
Yeah.
You got Luke Cage,
Yeah.
who ended up becoming the boss of that area now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
He's
saying?
running the
So that's
show.
more of the on ground stuff that the Mark is gonna have to deal
Yeah,
with.
that
Then
villain,
you
yeah.
got then you got the other aliens from that space mission that he went on that take over the people's bodies and go crazy. You got that one. Then you got the Vulturites are on their way. They're coming. They mention it. They say, "Hey, once they set their mind on something, they're coming to take it over, and that's it. You can't stop them unless you have an army with you."
Mhm.
Kind of stuff. So they set up like 5 to 6 different storylines that you're gonna see in the future
So good.
with the second half of this episode. So it was a beautiful way to execute it. It was quick, didn't give you too much, and left you wanting more, which is why the next 2 seasons got freaking greenlit, man.
Yeah, they didn't even give them like a season 2. They gave them season 2 and 3. Like, we want to see more come down the line. And they also showed Battle Beast just like chilling in the cut at the
Right,
end.
that's another one.
And it's
Yep.
like they set up so many storylines, and it's just so good. But yeah, I do agree that there was so much action at the beginning. That's like slowed down. Then he's like, visiting his friends, and they're talking. I'm like, at that point, I said, "Why are you doing this to me?" It's like a roller coaster. Like you are given that fast ride, and then you go up a little bit, and
Right.
it's like it just goes straight. It doesn't go down because that's the end of the season. And it made me want more. I'm like, okay, get to working. Everybody, let's go. And I'm
I
just
wonder
so
how long it's
excited.
gonna take for them to push out the next season, though.
It's gotta
You
be
know.
within a year, bro. And I
Can we
know
also talk about how Mark's girlfriend is the absolute worst character in the show? I can't stand her. Okay.
go ahead.
So
Say what you feel.
you knew that your boyfriend was the superhero.
And you gave him shit. Oh, I can't. I can't.
Like, yo, he just saved your lives
I can't.
and try to hide his identity to keep you safe. Like, his intention was, hey, my friends and family can't know about this because if they do, it'll be a danger to them.
Yep.
So his intention is to protect you.
Yep.
But your intention is, why you lied to me? I can't trust you. I knew you were him the whole time. It's like, yo, so you knew I was out here almost dying. Okay.
And then you wonder, oh, he's never
I got my
here on
ass
time,
beat.
always late.
Right. I got my ass beat. I saved people from an alien invasion. I had to fight my dad, and now you want to come back? Ugh. I would have took her into space and launched her into the sun.
Yo, I don't know if this happens in the comic books. You don't have to spoil it, but we already know Adam Eve wants my boy. Yo, you
I
just
cannot
froze.
speak
Okay,
on
there
those
you go.
situations.
So Adam Eve, she's been flirting, and she's like, "Yo, I'm in
Just
the
know
I'm in a tree away from everybody. You can always come through. You can come through."
Mark's love life gets real complicated in the comics. I hope they do it justice on the show.
They should. It
'Cause it
shouldn't
gets
be
a
that
little crazy.
complicated, man. Because
No. It's not even about
oh, a new
just them
chick comes
two.
through. Okay,
They're just wait.
all right.
It gets a little. Now, I'm not saying it's like relationship stuff. Just know it gets a little dark. Okay, it gets dark for
man,
everybody.
I can't wait. Now you
So
got me intrigued.
It's crazy. I promise you, it gets a little crazy. His love life gets a little twists and turns. I promise. It's gonna be fun to watch if they put it in there.
It's great that they do this because they are teenagers, and teenagers go through this, right? Like,
Right.
girlfriend, boyfriend, I love you, I don't love you, like they show that like aspect of realism, and that's what I like about the show. It's like almost relatable even though they're
Yep.
superheroes, you kind of relate to the situations and
Because they give
relationships.
you that human aspect. They give you
Yeah,
that human
man.
aspect at least.
Where in other superheroes, this is why Spider-Man is so successful, is because he's so
Yes.
relatable. But
Spider-Man's also in the comics, by the way.
I was gonna ask you that too. I was leaning that way. So the thing is, it's relatable, and I feel that this is what makes the show so successful, the comic book so successful. But these characters are made up, right? This is not like something that was given to Robert Kirkman. Like he was influenced by DC and Marvel and kind of like made his own version. And then
Yep.
Chris was telling me, and you already know, there's like a crossover between Spider-Man and Mark. And like,
Yep.
do you I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't
No,
know.
no shot that's happening in
I would love to
the
see it though, right? Like
I don't think Sony would allow it.
like if you watch the Fox animated series of X-Men, you saw
Right.
Spider-Man swing through. You know what I'm saying? You saw that like connection. You saw Wolverine and Spider-Man work together in these shows, right? It would be so dope if they could get a contract. Because I think Marvel owns the animated Spider-Man. Like they own those rights for like, because if you go to Disney Plus,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
like I think they own the rights of the animated version of Spider-Man. I could be wrong because Into the Spider-Verse was Sony.
Right.
I don't know, but if they can get some way somehow to have him swing through for like 2 minutes, talk to him, and keep it
Well,
moving.
the only reason Disney has those on there is because that used to be on Fox.
Yeah, and
So
they
they
bought
remember
Fox. You're right. You're right.
have the newer stuff is all Sony, unfortunately. And I just don't think Sony would allow it, especially with what's going on with the MCU Spider-Man, stuff like that.
That'd
It
be
would be
so
great to
sick,
because
man.
it's like a small crossover and it's like just a simple conversation of them making fun of each other's names and making fun of Superman and shit. It would be great to like see it actually happen.
Yeah,
I just don't believe it will because again,
contracts
Sony
and
is gonna
yeah.
Sony it up.
Oh
So
man, that'd be so dope to see that. I think it would be so dope just thinking about it because
and because their characters are very similar with the whole starting off as a teenager and growing into
yes,
their character
took
and
the
all
words out
that
of my
kind of
mouth.
even though he has a Batman character's name, with the whole Grayson stuff, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, Kirk the likeness of a lot of stuff. So I mean, the guy's dad is freaking J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, he
You know what I'm
also
saying?
yeah, he was also in the DC Justice League too. He played Commissioner Gordon. So he has a relationship with comics, you know. It's awesome. You guys have to watch it. And before we go, Chris, I want to know 1 through 10, what do you rate this season?
Hmm, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Ooh, almost perfect. Uh
Perfect.
I know IGN gave it a 9. I'm gonna have to go with that too because I don't feel there was any. There was probably one episode that I felt like dragged a lot. I don't remember the number. I think it might have been episode 6. I don't remember. But the show overall, you already heard us talk about it, is incredible. It made me a fan, and I'm gonna watch more of it. I can't wait. I'm probably gonna even start reading the comics because I want to know what happens. So yeah, it has to be like a 9 for me. It wasn't completely perfect, but I thought the show was incredible, man. You have to watch it. Now, we do this. You gotta
Oh, here
pick
we
a number.
go.
3,000 questions about me. You have to pick a number between 1 and 3,000, Chris.
3,000.
Oh, okay. No one's ever picked that. You know that's crazy. No one's ever picked 3,000. Um, this is the question. When you're sick, do you grin and bear it or just curl up in a bed as much as possible?
I think a good balance of both, you know? You gotta have a couple hours of this, like all right, so I had COVID, right? So when I had COVID, it
How
was
did
a
you deal
mixture
with
of both,
that?
a mixture of both. Okay. Some days I would wake up and feel like complete garbage.
Uh-huh.
I literally roll up into a little ball in my bed and sleep the entire day. But then I had some days where I just had to like tough it out, go outside, get some fresh air,
Yeah, yeah.
make some teas. Like that was the key was some that Theraflu, bro. That Theraflu helped heavily. 'Cause, man, them coughs were deadly.
Bless you.
Sorry.
Do you have it now?
no, I'm good now. But yeah, so a little mixture of both, because you know how us men get. We become big babies when we get sick. I don't care what nobody says. We got real babyish when it comes. Like, yo, I'm sick, take care of me, but I don't got nobody to take care of me, so I have to tough it out. But
For me, it's the same, right? I hate getting sick. I mean, nobody likes getting sick, but I despise it. Like, I guess my immune system is really good because I don't get sick as much. Like, I probably get sick twice a year, right? I want to say about a month ago, I got sick, and I was afraid that it might have been COVID. Anytime anyone gets sick now, you're like, oh, is it COVID? So I went straight to get testing. I already felt this, like, not symptoms, but like my throat was hurting me. I didn't have any fever. I was sneezing, coughing, and I was taking medicine. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna beat it before it gets to me. Like, I'm gonna get ahead of the sickness. But then it wasn't during the day because I still was streaming. I was still like, well, no, actually, I didn't even stream that whole week. But I was still like playing games, watching shows. I was doing my normal thing. But it wasn't until at nighttime that I couldn't sleep. I couldn't breathe. I was hot. I was cold. And I wish I could have just went into a ball and just chilled in the bed, but I couldn't get comfortable. That was recently. But anytime in the past when I get sick, I would just lay in bed and watch TV all day. And I'm kind of a loner. Yes, I'm married. And my wife tries to take care of me. I'm like, yo, do not get next to me. I'm sick. I don't want you to get sick. No, she wants to kiss me, rub my feet. She wants to do these loving things. And I love her. I say thank you all the time. Like, Jess, that's my wife's name. I'm like, Jess, thank you. You don't have to. I'm grown. I could do this. Just let me get through it. No, she wants to take care of me. And she can get sick too. I'm like, then if you get sick, then the kids get sick. It's not just me anymore. So when I get sick, I try to like keep my distance and just let me do my thing. You'll learn this, Chris, when you get older.
Eventually, yeah, I got time.
Yeah, Chris is a young fellow, man. When he gets into his 30s and early 40s, he'll learn. Like, it's tough when you get sick when you're married with kids. It's a lot harder than just being alone.
Right.
But
I can imagine.
I want to thank you, Chris, for being here, man. I appreciate you like going through this whole series. I love the show. You're a big fan of the show, the comics, and I couldn't think of anyone else to do the show with. So I thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it, man.
You know the vibes. Thank you for having me, my friend.
Now, before
you guys know where to find me
already. Yeah, before we go, give the people your information.
Me, I'm gonna see you on Twitch, part-time Twitch streamer.
He hasn't streamed since we did It Takes Two. That's part-time, if you ask me.
Bro, go to my thing and look at all the clips I got. I have to edit everything. Okay, I'm by myself, bro. It's not easy. I don't have the energy. Actually, right after this, I'm about to go edit some stuff.
Okay? Word, I'm waiting.
It's a lot.
Okay? I need to get some clips, bro. But yeah, go check out my boy, Miyamo CG. I'll put all the information in the description below. But thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate the love and support. And until next time, keep gaming. Peace.